Mortal Kombat 1 is getting even more new costumes, and according to the creator himself, Ed Boon, they're gonna be retro designs from the 3D era games, which is already great news, but on top of that, some of these costumes might actually be free because NetherRealm's been doing that a lot lately. For example, both the Scorpion and Smoke movie skins were completely free. So today, let's discuss which 3D era costumes are most likely to return and also some personal favorites of mine, because another day means more Mortal Kombat 1 news. I'm covering it all the time on this channel, so if you want to stay up to date, then make sure to subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss any future videos. And then after watching, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below, it helps the channel out a ton. And without any further ado, let's begin, starting off with this tweet from Ed Boon, the co-founder of Mortal Kombat himself, because he actually retweeted a fan on X, or Twitter, whatever you want me to call it. I'm gonna call it Twitter because it just rolls off the tongue easier. But the point is, Barry MK said this: "Please, Ed Boon, can you add Scorpion's MK vs DC outfit to Mortal Kombat 1. And Ed Boon retweeted saying, "That ain't a bad idea," with a light bulb. So it could be very possible that Ed Boon and NetherRealm Studios are already working on this costume, which is why he chose to retweet it. I think that's definitely a possibility, but at the very least we know for a fact that Ed Boon is interested at this idea, which means we could very likely get Scorpion's DC costume in Mortal Kombat 1, which I honestly think would be a great decision, because despite being a rather infamous game, Mortal Kombat vs. DC had some really stellar designs. In fact, many of these designs were so good that a future game would pretty much copy them. And anybody watching this video with a keen eye already knows what I'm talking about. Mortal Kombat 9, otherwise known as Mortal Kombat 2011, the reboot of the series, had many costumes that were clear derivatives of Mortal Kombat vs. DC. For example, if we look at Sub-Zero's mask, it's identical to what we get in Mortal Kombat 9. And then for Raiden, his entire costume is very similar to Mortal Kombat 9, only it's been simplified a bit, which makes sense. It's a reboot, it's the first game in the series, so you can't start off with a crazy over-the-top design. You can't build off of that, so you gotta simplify the outfit so that in sequels you can add a bit more detail to it. However, oddly enough, Scorpion is the exception to this rule, because while you could argue that his DC look inspired the Mortal Kombat 9 costumes, both his default and the alternate definitely do borrow some aspects and elements from this initial costume, but even so, the DC outfit is still original in its own right. It's definitely different enough that if you ordered it on Amazon and then got the MK9 costume instead, you'd feel ripped off because that's not what you ordered. They may share some similarities, but they're also completely different outfits at the end of the day. But to make things even more interesting and just straight up bizarre, in the very first Mortal Kombat 9 trailer, we see Scorpion, and look at his design. It's not the MK9 outfit, it's just straight up his MK vs. DC costume, which has me asking so many questions. Was Scorpion originally going to look very similar to this in Mortal Kombat 9, or did NetherRealm just not have his MK9 character finished, and so they grabbed this design instead for the trailer and that's it? I'm honestly not sure, because MK9 has so many interesting mistakes in the early trailers and gameplay footage, but I digress. That was so off topic. I love giving you guys some fun facts, but let's get back on the costume topic. My main point was that Mortal Kombat vs. DC, for all of its faults and all the hate that it gets, had some really good costumes, and in fact the costume designs were so good that Mortal Kombat 9 either took inspiration or straight up copied them in some cases. So real quick, for the sake of this video, let's just assume that Scorpion's costume from MK vs. DC is gonna make it into the game, alright? It's going to happen. If that is the case, then it would mean that other costumes from this game are likely going to make it in as well, but not all of them. There's no way we're gonna straight up get 10 costumes from this game in Mortal Kombat 1. So instead, let's talk about which costumes are the most likely. Sub-Zero's would definitely be up there, because if you put Scorpion's costume in the game, you gotta put Sub-Zero's costume in the game too. I mean, it's only fair, but then on top of that, this is actually one of the best costumes that Sub-Zero has had, and I'm not joking. Yes, everyone says Deception has the best costume, and that is true for the most part, but even so, I still think that Mortal Kombat vs. DC has one of the best Sub-Zero designs I've ever seen. I love the dragon designs on his black fabric. I think the design going down the blue parts of his fabric is also really cool. He's got the icy arms. It's honestly just a near perfect costume for Sub-Zero. And even though this costume was originally worn by Kuai Liang, I think this fit would still look equally good on Bi-Han, who's the Sub-Zero we play as in Mortal Kombat 1. It's overall a fantastic costume. I want to see it in Mortal Kombat 1, especially if Scorpion gets his DC costume. It's only fair. Alright, but next up, let's talk Baraka, because this costume is such a great contrast to what he's already wearing in Mortal Kombat 1. It's mostly loose fabric and some leather, but this outfit has metal. It looks like a samurai, which is so cool. There's iron studs everywhere too. It's just an all-around fantastic design, and there's creepy spikes all around his forearm coming out of his skin, which is cool too. Baraka's so creepy and ugly in this game. I love it. And of course the red fabric just ties the whole thing together. It's a great color combination, right? You can't go wrong with black and red, especially on a character who looks as sinister as Baraka. And even though in Mortal Kombat 1 he's a good guy now, we can't deny he looks very scary and sinister. And as a result, this outfit would just look so good on Baraka, so I really hope that it makes it into the game. But then for the third costume, we have to talk about Liu Kang. I know his face looks kind of weird in this game. Don't worry about it, okay? Midway was kind of infamous for making some weird looking faces. Even Mortal Kombat 9 could not escape the ugly faces allegation, so don't focus on that, alright? Just look at how good the costume is. It's the Mortal Kombat 2 Liu Kang, but he's wearing the championship belt because he won the Mortal Kombat tournament, and I think that's really cool. And everybody agrees that in Mortal Kombat 1, Liu Kang needs a throwback costume to his original version. Because even though Fire God Liu Kang is super dope, everybody loves the classic. So we need an original classic Liu Kang outfit, and I'm just saying, instead of doing Mortal Kombat 3 or Mortal Kombat 2, NetherRealm could try something a bit different and give us his MK versus DC design, because it's still very similar to Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, but it's also a bit different, which makes it feel refreshing and new. It's got a bit of extra designs to it to make it feel more unique and interesting than his default costume that he had in past games. And even though I don't think it's likely that NetherRealm is going to give us 4 costumes from the same game, if that does happen, then I want Raiden to get his MK versus DC design. Look at this drip. Raiden's never looked more godly than he does right here, except for his Deadly Alliance alternate. That will never be topped, but I don't think it would look good in Mortal Kombat 1 because current Raiden is a bit scrawny. But this outfit I think would go really hard in Mortal Kombat 1. There's tons of armor, tons of fabric, there's gold everywhere too. I love the ropes. Everything about this outfit is incredible, so much in fact that NetherRealm pretty much copied it over to Mortal Kombat 9, but then removed some elements so it didn't look quite so over the top, which once again I think was a good decision considering how MK9 was a reboot, so the outfits should feel a bit more basic. But this costume from MK vs DC is so good. It looks so cool. Honestly, it's easily a top 3 Raiden costume, so I really do hope that it makes it into Mortal Kombat 1. But as you all know, I love making these videos interactive, so let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Which costumes from this game do you think should make it into Mortal Kombat 1? And in fact, do you think the DC characters' costumes should be in the game too and just throw them on the Mortal Kombat characters? I think that could be really cool. Imagine one of the MK ladies wearing Catwoman's fit. As far as I know, Warner Bros. Discovery does still own the rights to DC characters' costumes, so it definitely could happen, and I think that would look good in Mortal Kombat 1. But once again, I want to know which costumes you want the most, so make sure to let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below, because like I say in all my videos, I truly love reading each and every comment, so grab that keyboard, make your voices heard. Next up, to end this video, I wanted to roast some of the costumes from this game, because not all of them are winners, like Katana's for example. I don't think this outfit is terrible, but for Katana's standards, it might actually be one of her worst costumes that she's ever had in any of the games. I really have no idea what's going on with the torso here. Like, what's the idea behind these random blue lines? It looks like they're grabbing a hold of her booba, like Dr. Octopus's tentacles are grabbing her chest. And then down below the same thing's happening. They're grabbing at like her waist. It looks weird. I don't get what these blue shapes are supposed to mean or signify. Anybody who draws or doodles knows what I'm talking about here, but to me this feels like something I would have drawn in middle school when I had the character mostly finished but the torso was empty and I didn't really know what to put there, so I just drew some random shapes and curves. That to me is what this looks like. It is lunchroom level art. No offense, but that's how it looks to me. The leggings look fine. I like the gloves too, but overall this outfit is just so darn weird. I love the ponytail too though, to be fair. The more I look at it, there are elements to this costume that I like, including the fabric that ties her ponytail. It looks kind of like Liu Kang, but it's blue. I like that as well, but overall as a whole, I do not like this costume, and I hope it does not make it into Mortal Kombat 1, because Katana has so many great costumes from past games, so if you want to bring one of them over, that's fine, just don't make it this one. I feel like it's gotta be in the bottom 2. Now next up, let's talk about Shang Tsung, but don't freak out, this costume is actually great. I don't think it would be a bad fit for Mortal Kombat 1 or anything like that. However, my problem is it's very similar to what we got in Mortal Kombat 9, only it's a bit simpler, and that's why as a result, out of all the costumes from this game that you could carry over, I really don't want it to be this one. Just go to Mortal Kombat 9 instead and throw that outfit in if you want to give Shang Tsung a costume, and while you're at it, make sure his old man form has a different costume too, because gameplay wise he's way stronger, and as a result Shang Tsung mains spend more time as old man Shang Tsung, and it makes these DLC costumes almost pointless because you barely get to see the new costume you paid for at all. So NetherRealm, please, if you do give Shang Tsung a new costume, make sure the old man form gets something as well, please. No matter what the case may be, at the end of the day, Mortal Kombat vs. DC had some really good costumes, so if they do carry over into Mortal Kombat 1, I think that would be a really great decision by NetherRealm Studios. The game may get a lot of hate, but many of these costumes are undeniably really good. In fact, they're so great that they carried over into Mortal Kombat 9. And since a majority of Mortal Kombat 1's costumes are more simple in design, I think these DC costumes would stand out that much more because they're so complex and a bit over-designed. But that's just my opinion. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below. It helps my channel out a ton. And then finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.